Welcome, we're continuing our journey through Daniel chapter 11, and in this video we'll be covering verses 25 to 26. Before we launch into these verses, let's just take a step back and remember where we've been so far. So Daniel 11 has been recording with amazing accuracy the multiple Syrian wars between the Seleucids in the north and the Ptolemies in the south. There are a total of 6 Syrian wars between these empires, and so far in our journey we've covered the first 5 of them. In this video we'll be going through the 6th and final Syrian war, but before we do that, let's remind ourselves what happened in the preceding 5th Syrian war. So in 202 BC, the 5th Syrian war begins between Antiochus III and the child king Ptolemy V. At the Battle of Paneum, Antiochus has a decisive victory and recaptures Israel for the Seleucid Empire. This piece of land in our historical sources is referred to as Seleucid Syria. So at the end of the 5th Syrian war, Antiochus has captured this land for the Seleucids. Now, having conquered this land, Antiochus wants to continue his expansion and capture Egypt itself. But he fears the Romans who are supporting the Ptolemies. So what does Antiochus do? Well, Antiochus has 3 important children, Seleucus IV, Antiochus IV, and Cleopatra I. So he gives his daughter Cleopatra in marriage to Ptolemy as a peace agreement to end the 5th Syrian war. In actuality, he does this to infiltrate the Ptolemaic Empire, but it doesn't work. Cleopatra becomes loyal to Ptolemy V. Now, Cleopatra and Ptolemy then go on to have 3 important children of note as well, this being Ptolemy VI, Cleopatra II, and Ptolemy VIII. Now, once Ptolemy V dies, his eldest son, Ptolemy VI, takes the throne. But since he's still very young at this stage, his mother acts as regent. As Newsom notes in her commentary, quote, from 180 to 176, the widowed queen Cleopatra had been regent for her son, Ptolemy VI Philometor, end quote. Then, once Cleopatra dies, since Ptolemy is still very young, they bring in officials to be regent for the boy. Quote, after her death, the regency of the still underage child passed to 2 members of the court, Iulius, a eunuch and former tutor of Ptolemy VI, and Lianos, a slave of Cleopatra's household, who oversaw the kingdom's finances, end quote. Another important thing to consider is that during this time period, Ptolemy VI is not the only ruler of Egypt. As Newsom continues to write, quote, they also made Ptolemy VI's sister Cleopatra II his queen and consort, and in 170 added their younger brother Ptolemy VIII Physcon as the 3rd regent, end quote. So while Ptolemy VI has the lead position, his younger siblings are also considered regents alongside him. Okay, let's pause here for a moment and remember that up in the north, Antiochus III is no longer king, it is now Antiochus IV. It's also really important to know that during this time period, the Seleucids and Ptolemies are related. Because remember, the mother of the Ptolemies was Cleopatra I, whose brother is Antiochus IV, as they are both children of Antiochus III. So this means that Antiochus IV is the uncle to the current kings and queen of the Ptolemaic Empire. Now, the reason why this is important is because when Ptolemy... Are you enjoying this video so far? Do you want to watch the rest of it? Well, the only way for you to do that is to become a patron. The full video is only available to patrons. So click the link in the description below and become a patron today.